So this is a video you guys have been asking me for. How is the Dianne Right Brand Reading Program going? Are you still using it with your oldest son? Is it helping? Has he made any progress? Give us an update. It's been a year. And so today I'm going to share with you guys an update on how this is going, if we're still using this program, how my son has progressed or not progressed, the good, the bad, the ugly, because there's been a few ugly moments, and everything in between. So let's get started. In this video, I am not going to go through all of the elements of the program and how it works and all of those things. You can actually see a video here that has more information about how to get started with this program and what the different elements are and how they're supposed to work together. But it is so much information that I need to share with you today. I need to kind of skip that. So if you need to pause this and go check out that other video and come back, that's fine. For those who are new here, my son, my oldest, is 13, almost 14, and he has a lot of learning challenges. He was diagnosed with high functioning autism, with severe dyslexia, that he actually has a severe auditory processing disorder. So it's not just an issue of the reading is hard and a challenge, but it's also once you read, the brain is not processing that information correctly. Then his brain either mixes that information up or puts it in the wrong place or doesn't store it properly, among many other things. So because of that, there have been many challenges. We have taken a different track with him and we have tried almost everything out there. We have done multiple curriculums. We have gotten outside help with tutors, and ultimately this is the program that we landed on for him. The first thing that I need to kind of set straight, so to speak, is when I gave you guys an update after 3 months of using the program, I said that my son was at about a first grade reading level. I had a reason for that, but really after I've used the program more, after I've seen his reading more, I've realized that at that point, it wasn't even actually at a first grade reading level. Let me explain. So they have this assessment test that you give your child every 3 to 4 months. It's usually closer to 4 to 5 months because I forget. They have a pre-primer, a primer, a first grade, a second grade level, all the way up to an 8th grade reading list. With this, the rule is that if a child gets 5 or more words wrong, they should stop, not keep going to the next list. And that list is the list that they are on. That's the level they are on. So when I did that assessment at the first 3-month mark, he tested into that one level. The problem is that in the pre-primer and the primer level, there was 4 words that he was struggling with in there. And they weren't just words that he read too quickly or words where he flipped a B and a D or something like that. There was some of that, but a lot of it was more not understanding those concepts that are taught within those words. And so I recognized that even though he tested into level 1, technically, in reality, he wasn't super solid on the pre-primer or the primer. Now, I want to be clear that I am sharing this information with my son's permission. With that being said, he really was at a solid pre-primer-ish level. It's been really hard to kind of admit that and to recognize that at 13, that's where we were at. So I'm going to share where we are now at the end of this video. So be sure to stick around for that. But in the meantime, let me share you guys a little bit about the experience and what it's been like integrating this program into our life. We definitely have struggled with attitude issues when it comes to this program. It is not babyish at all as far as the look or the design. There's no fun games or songs or anything like that. And that's been good because I'm working with a teen. However, when you're reading material at a first grade or lower level, that can be frustrating because the stories are not going to be that interesting, and they are well known for having the most boring books possible. Now, as we're getting into later levels, it's definitely getting more interesting, but when he first started, it was very much the cat, sat, hat, that kind of thing, and he was just kind of like rolling his eyes. But over the year, we have seen a lot of progress. We hit a wall actually after that last update and things got worse, and he was really fighting me every day, just like, why do I have to do this? I don't understand. This is dumb. I don't want to. And I never really had that much pushback from him before. Now we are doing so much better, and it is truthfully, I think it is prayer and the Lord changing his heart. There was some situations socially where he started to realize his need for reading more, and I think he just kind of, through a mixture of all the things, got on board, so to speak. And then in January to now, we have seen huge growth. So it's one of those that I think there's a natural transition period that's going to be for anybody of just getting used to this program. If you're working with older students, expect there to be some transition period of maybe some pushback and some frustration, and understand that that doesn't mean that the program's not working, and it doesn't mean that your child's mad at you. Honestly, what a lot that we kind of unpacked with my son was that he was frustrated with himself and that he felt like he should be able to do this. Even though he knows he has all of these different challenges that he's working with, he still felt like he was dumb. And so I think it was important for us to kind of unpack that and take those opportunities to have those heart-to-heart moments. But more back to the curriculum. We did add in these vocabulary cartoons. This was recommended by the program. We are almost done with the book, and it has been fantastic. I think I've talked about it on here before, so I won't spend too much time, but essentially what they do is they have different cartoons, the vocabulary word, a keyword that helps you remember the vocabulary word, and then they give you practice sentences. You go over this, we go over a list about every week, then they have little tests that you can give your child. Guys, I cannot even begin to tell you how many vocabulary words he has truly memorized, because it takes that right brain approach and putting pictures with it and putting scenarios with it, and it is just the right amount of glue to make it stick in his brain. Essentially, what he is doing is using these visual cards to take pictures of mentally in his head. Because of this, not only can he spell all of these words correctly, he can actually spell them all forwards or backwards, because he didn't memorize them and he didn't learn the rules so that he could decode it in his brain, because that's just not the way his brain is created. He literally took a mental picture. So when I say, can you spell want? It's W-A-N-T. Most of us could do that. But when I say spell it backwards, he doesn't have to recall or think through that process. He literally just looks at the picture in his head and just reads it backwards and says T-N-A-W. I had to stop and think about it for a second, because it's not that simple for the rest of us. This program really did change the way I thought of how to teach, and the fact that it uses so few auditory cues. Because of his auditory processing, it does make learning a huge challenge. So instead of teaching them all these fancy rules and teaching them when to use them, teaching them different phonogram things, we just have pictures. Fox, x. We have hammer, I, night, sh, shoe. I don't do a teaching lesson. I don't do a long, extensive thing. He has different words that he reads out of here every single day. We set a timer and he reads for about 20 minutes a day. We go to a list. He starts on that page. He reads for a full 20 minutes. They're all broken down a little bit different, but if they use one of these phonogram rules, they'll have a picture of it at the top, and he knows O-O and E-W say ooh, like boot. And so he'll sit there and go baboon, mushroom, shampoo, gloomy. And then there are other pages. They all have different amounts of words or different spacing on them. This has got the E-A sound for E. There are no rules that he's memorizing, because we've tried that method, and for most kids that works great. But for him, it just doesn't process or stick correctly, and it's very confusing and overwhelming. Now, with the spelling, another element that we have added since we started the program is having him write down how to spell certain words after every reading list. So we read through that reading list for 20 minutes, and then I pick out 3 to 5 words off of one of those lists. In 20 minutes, we get through a lot of lists, okay? And I will pick 3 to 5 words, and I will give him those words, and he will have to write those down. This whole notebook is full of different word lists that he has written down. I'll tell him, can you spell brain? And he'll go, like train? And I say, yes. And he can picture the picture of the train with the A-I on it, and he automatically knows B-R-A-I-N, and he's able to spell it. I know I've had a lot of you guys reach out to me and ask, where's the scientific proof in this? Or where's the articles that back up all of this? I don't have that for you guys. Honestly, I came to this program after trying many programs that are backed by tons of scientific research and many years of experience. And honestly, I came here because nothing else worked for this child. And it wasn't that he wasn't applying himself, and it wasn't that we weren't being consistent. He just needed it to be presented way differently. And I can't tell you this is why it works or this is how the brain does this. They do have a lot of that research themselves, the Dianne program, And so you can look through all of their research, but I don't have anything for you other than the fact that it has worked phenomenally. We no longer have any struggles when it comes to the physical exercises or when it comes to the lessons themselves. At the time I made that first update video, we had to split our lessons up because they took so long and he would get fatigued or frustrated. Now we're able to sit down and just knock it all out, and he even reminds me when I forget that we need to do his lesson. I've seen his B and D reversal that has been horrific since the time he was a very young child finally start to disappear. Every once in a while, it'll rear its ugly head, but for the most part, we've got it straight. And this is something that has been a constant thing that we have worked on for many years. Lots of you guys have asked me, is this what I should use for my child who is struggling with dyslexia? Only you can answer that question about your child. But what I will say is this is not the way that the majority of kids are going to learn. Even many of those with dyslexia, this is not the way they have to learn it. They can learn with other programs. My older two also have dyslexia, and they learned phenomenally with All About Reading. All About Reading was created by a parent of a child with dyslexia, and it does have tons of science and tons of reviews and amazing testimonials of how it has worked phenomenally for them. And I'm so thankful for them. That was great. And I think most dyslexic kids will fall in that category where that program will be enough to help them. But if you have tried multiple things, if you are feeling at your wit's end, this might be worth giving a try. I will say, I don't really see how all of it fits together. I don't understand why they put things in the order they put them in. And usually I'm somebody who really likes to understand all the ins and outs of every single thing. But I do know they're intentional about what they do. And I do know that it works for him. Remember how I said at the beginning that he was really only at a pre-primer level as far as being solidly in a level? Well, now after a year, my son is well into the second grade level, and he is really flying through it. He actually went through this first book in only a month or two, and significantly faster than he did with any of the level 1 books. We are moving into the second book for level 2, and I really expect that he will have this one done easily by the end of the summer, and we'll be into book 3 of level 2. I really truly believe that I can get my son, I really truly believe that I can get my son up to, at minimum, a 4th grade reading level, which is where the majority of Americans actually lie statistically. I believe I can get him up to that easily before high school, if not beyond that level. And I never thought we could get there. Sorry, it's really emotional. It's been a very long journey. This week, we were doing family worship, and my son was able to read the Bible out loud confidently for our family devotion time. And I just couldn't imagine that. That would have never been a possibility a year ago. I'm very thankful for this program. I'm very thankful for the work that this company has put into it. And I'm thankful that we were willing to give it a try, despite the fact that it's incredibly time consuming, despite the fact that I don't always understand the why for each of these things. But getting to see the growth in my son has been huge. And if you are a mom who is feeling desperate and overwhelmed and feeling like there is no hope, maybe this is something that you should consider trying. My son now on that test is testing into a 2nd grade level, but he is acing all of the other levels and is now solidly in that 2nd grade level. And I'm so proud of him for that. I hope this has been helpful. I know it's a little all over the place, but I just wanted to kind of share with you guys the honest journey and thoughts and feedback that I have on this program. Talk to you later. Bye.